Hello grade 11s. Today I'm looking at drawing on page 84 of your workbooks, still drawings showing the curve of interpenetration and development. They've given you a square main pipe with a square branch pipe, a complete top view, an incomplete front view, and they want you to do the top view, complete the front view showing the curve of interpenetration, and they then want you to develop both of the pipes. There's the outline for the top view of my main square pipe, where we've got the circle that's got the diameter of 38 with our tangents. I'm not sure why they have left us so little space to do this construction of the square on this side. I would suggest drawing that on the other side of your shape when we're going to do it, because I don't think you're going to have enough space on the side of your shape here. I'm going to project my height measurements up now to finish constructing the front view, and then come and get the branch pipe in my top view. So I've projected my height measurements. This height was 36, and that's where they say the center of our branch pipe is, and the total height of 72. As I said to you, what I'm going to do is do the construction just on this side, because I don't think I've got enough space on this side of the left hand side of my shape. There's my construction of the branch pipe. It says that the branch pipe sticks out a measurement of 17. And I can now take my points across from my branch pipe. Now, trying to understand what we've done over here is that this was the auxiliary view of the branch pipe. Now, what I've done is I've drawn the auxiliary view in the top view as well. The big trick is that we need to remember that we are rotating by 90 degrees to get the shape that we need here in the top view. If we look at the labeling, I'm taking my highest point in the situation, and we need to rotate that by 90 degrees into the top view. So if there was 90 rotating, if that was A, we're rotating 90, means here is A, B, C and D, following the same process of labeling clockwise. I'm now ready to project these lines across and get the complete top view. We can quite easily find the given points by projecting them up. The tricky point is going to be to find the turning point here. But let's carry on and do the edges of our square branch pipe. I've followed my points across from the auxiliary view. I've followed my points across from the auxiliary view and the front view as well, and I've worked my lines. Try and follow them through in a logical process. So maybe you want to start at the highest point and work down, or work from the lowest point up. I generally try and work from the lowest point up, remembering here is the turning point, and at that turning point these parts would be hidden detail. I'm going to then do points A and B up to my turning point. I need to follow where A touches the main pipe and project it up to touch and intersect line A in the front view. Where's point B? Project that up. Point B now needs to go to the turning point. Now we can't find where this turning point is here, so we need to go and mark it off in our auxiliary view. Our center line gives us the turning point, so where it hits the auxiliary view, those are the two turning points over there. We now need to take these measurements and transfer them into our auxiliary view in the front view. If I'm going to find the turning point between point A and D, here is point A and D, I'm going to take that distance from A to the turning point. I'm going to now transfer it to my auxiliary view in the front view. There is point A, and I'm marking towards point D. This gives me the turning point. We project the lines, so here's the edge of my shape where the turning point is. I've got that, and I now need to take where the turning point measurement hits on my auxiliary and project it across, and that gives me the turning point here on the shape. Next, we're going to take the measurement. We can go either way, from B to C to find this turning point. So I'll now put my point of my compass on B, mark towards C. That's going to give me my turning point. Project my horizontal line, and that will give me my turning point here at the bottom of the shape. So these points need to get joined now. A to the turning point, to B to the turning point. While we're looking at A, let's just understand that A is in front of our turning point, so that part we've seen is visible from A to B. However, A is the highest point and then is now going to point D. Now, as it goes to point D, it's going to travel past the turning point, so that point is behind my shape and will then be in hidden detail. I'm going to take point C now. C will be in hidden detail. And I'll project the line up. There's C. And point D is my last point that I need to check here. Once again, this is on the other side of the turning point, so this would definitely be in hidden detail. So I projected D to height D, and there is this point. So the completion of my shape needs to be the turning point going to D, D going to C, C going to the turning point. And those points will all be in hidden detail. There is our completed curve of interpenetration on the front view. The branch pipe going through to point C. At the edge here, it would be hidden detail. That line should be in dark and not hidden detail. Point B is visible, point D is hidden detail, point A is visible. That's why that little part would be in hidden detail. They've asked you to develop both pipes now. So for the main pipe, we're going to project over here, because we can then project the height dimension straight away. For the branch pipe, that we're going to take somewhere down here, because there's not going to be enough space to project it vertically. There I have marked off the sides A, B, C, D, A, which I've labelled here in my top view and labelled in the front view. Let's try and find the easy points that are on those actual edges. There's nothing at A, there's nothing at B, C we've got the turning point, and D we've got nothing. So the only point we can find is our turning point that is hitting on point C. So we're going to project our height measurements for the turning point to line C, and those are our first 2 points. We now have to calculate where the other points are. What we need to remember about finding the next lot of points is our height dimensions come from the front view, and we can't get all the dimensions from one view only. So if we've taken the height dimensions across to get these, we need to go into the top view to get our width dimensions. Let's find our next lot of points. So for the branch pipe, I'm going to start at the bottom here, and I'm going to find point B. What I need to do is go from the corner B and measure the distance to where the branch pipe B touches. B was going to line C, so what I'm going to do now is take B and mark towards C, and that would give me where branch pipe B is. I can then project that point up vertically in my development and project the B height for my development where it's on the curve of interpenetration, project that across, and that would give me point B. We will follow that same process for our next point. So there is point A of my branch pipe. I'm measuring the distance from the corner B to where A is, and I mark then in my development from B going to corner C. That is where I've got A. I project my height dimension. We're following the same process. I then go and find where height A is, the highest point of my interpenetration. Project that across to intersect. There is point A. To find point C, you can measure from C on your main pipe to C on the branch pipe. I like measuring longer distances with my compass, so I'm measuring from D to C. I just need to remember that when I take that to my development, I mark from D going back towards C to give me the C point for my branch pipe. Project the height. There's 1 point. Point C is the lowest point of my interpenetration, and I would project that across. There gives me point C. My last point is point D. Now remember, I like measuring my longer distances, so I'm going to go from point C this time. measure the distance to point D, and follow that process. I'll put my compass at C, measure towards D, and that gives me D on my branch pipe. Project that line up and follow the horizontal line for D. There is D. I've got the outline now that I need. A to the turning point to D, D to C, C to the turning point to B, and back to A. Plus complete the outline and put in the fold lines. There we have the completed development of the main pipe. Now we're going to move on to draw the branch pipe. Now when we're doing the branch pipe, we have taken the length of the side from the front view. So there were our 4 measurements of 32, and we can label them. Now if we are taking the measurements for the length from the front view, what it would mean is that we can't get the measurement of the branch pipe from the front view generally. We would have to go to the next view to get the measurements. So we would come and get the measurements off our top view. With this drawing, the branch pipe is parallel to the base of the shape, which means that the length of A in the front view is actually the same length of A in the top view. So in this situation, you can take the measurement of either of the views. The problem only comes in when we have a tilted branch pipe. You can check that. So I'm going to take my measurement of A. There's my measurement of A in the front view. If I go into the top view, it is the same measurement. Let's mark that off. Let's go to the next point. Once again, let's check to see that we have the same measurements. There's the point B. Point B in the front view is the same. That would be a nice way just to check that you've taken out the correct measurements. C. There's my measurement for C. Transfer that to my development. And our last point, D. And transfer that. They're all the points that we need on our actual fold lines. The only points we now need to find would be the turning point. The turning point we can't find on the shape, so we've got to get it off the auxiliary view. So to find where the turning point is, first of all, let's take the top point, A going to D. Get the measurement of A or D to the turning point. Remember, I like measuring longer distances with my compass, so that's why I've measured from D. So now what I need to do is put my compass at D and mark towards A. That's going to be where my turning point is. I'll project my height measurement. I found my other point. My other point is where B is going to C. Take that distance, which is the same. Put my compass at B, mark towards C, and draw in the vertical line. We now need to get the turning point height. So there's the turning point, there's the edge of the shape, that's our height. Mark that off. It is the same for both points. There we have all the points that we need to be joined up and the fold lines on the edges. There we have the completed development of our branch pipe. That is the end of drawing on page 84.